So I've been thinking, we are close to 2023, and I was reflecting on 2022 and all the different things that have gone on this year in my life, personally and professionally. And it definitely was a dynamic year. I had some amazing ups, and I've also had some challenging downs. And I had been on the fence on whether or not I was going to share this situation that has occurred in my life with you. And I was thinking about it this morning, and I said, you know what? I need to share this. And it actually wasn't me, it was coming from me, but it was actually coming from God through me, that I needed to share this with you because somebody might be going through this. They may be uncertain of what's going on. And I'm just here to encourage you to definitely take care of yourself. So in August of 2022, which is this year, I had noticed that one day I was feeling a little dizzy, and it was in the evening. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'm tired and let me just get some rest and I'll see how I'm doing tomorrow. So the next day when I woke up, I was fine. And I just went into my office and everything was everything. And except later on that morning, I started to feel dizzy again. And I was like, this is not normal, because I've never really had a dizzy feeling before. And this dizzy feeling felt like I might pass out. And then it felt like I was off balance. When I tried to walk, it was as if the floor was higher than my foot, if that makes sense. And so my steps were off, and it really started to concern me. So I called my doctor, and luckily my general doctor, their office is in walking distance from my office. So I called, let them know what was going on, and they were able to see me immediately. So I just walked down to their office. Yes, I know I was dizzy and everything, but I still was able to walk to their office. And when I did, they took some vitals, and then they decided to do an EKG. They did the EKG, and when they did it and they saw the results, they did it again. So they ran the EKG test twice on me. And after the second time, the doctor spoke with me and said, this is concerning. Your levels are very erratic. And she was showing me where the changes were occurring. And she said, it's been consistent. This is the second test, and consistently this has been showing up. So, she said, I'm going to recommend you to go to a cardiologist. Now, I had a cardiologist from years ago. About 5 years ago, I went to a cardiologist, just kind of like a maintenance kind of thing. I just wanted to make sure that everything was good. I had a friend that was like, girl, it's important to get all, your vitals and, your parts checked out by the expert, the doctor that specializes in that. And so I was like, you know what? I've never really had my heart checked like that. Let me go to a cardiologist. So I went and he checked me out. Everything was good. So when she said she was recommending me to a cardiologist, I was thinking, okay, well, I know at least 5 years ago I was good, so I should be good to go, but let's see what's going on anyway. So I went to the cardiologist, and they saw me within the next 2 days. And them doing, seeing my EKGs, they said that they think they know what my situation may be, but they wanted to confirm. And so I had to get a cardio ultrasound. I never even knew that was a thing. I mean, I've had 3 kids, so of course I've had ultrasounds before, but I never had or heard of a ultrasound being done on your heart. So I went and had the cardio ultrasound, and then the next day I went to have my results. They were really quick with getting back to me with everything, so I appreciate that for sure. And when I went back, I was diagnosed with Hypertrophic Obstructive Cardiomyopathy. I hope I'm saying it right, but the street term is HOCM, and HOCM. And so HOCM is a genetic disease that basically, you're born with. And so they said a lot of people, when they get it, they only know they have it because they've had a severe heart attack and possibly have died, and the autopsy showed that that's what it was. And so they said, consider yourself lucky because you listened to your body and came in, and you have it. It is a challenge, and you're able to not make it better, but to be aware of your limitations at this point. So getting that diagnosis, first of all, I'm familiar with hearing about athletes dying suddenly, football players, runners, and people would always look at them like, man, they're in the best condition of their life, the best shape of their life. How did they just die like that? And with HOCM, for me, it's, my left side of my heart is enlarged. And so the blood flowing through it to fuel my body, it's very challenging because the part where the blood flows through is smaller because of the enlargement of the heart. And so I started thinking about things that I noticed going on that was different in my life that I paid attention to it when it was happening, but I didn't think much of it. For instance, if you look back at some of my walk with me videos, you may notice that I'm breathing really hard. And so, walking and doing that exertion, I always thought that's why, because I'm working out, basically. I'm walking, boom, boom. And especially in my neighborhood has a, great walking areas, walking trails. It's a walking neighborhood. And I have a lot of hills because it's a golf course also. So it's a lot of ups and downs and everything. And I just know going out of like our area of the neighborhood and getting up to where I can turn and go throughout more, that hill, whenever I used to walk up it, my heart would feel like it's about to jump out of my body. It would burn. It would hurt so bad. And thank God there was a bench. There's a bench right there. And I would always have to sit down on that bench to get my breath, to just relax and slow down my heart. But I can imagine as an athlete, when they get that burn, when it hurts, they're thinking, yeah, I'm really getting it in now. I'm really, getting that workout in. I'm really hitting my numbers or whatever. And they keep pushing themselves. And when you push yourself, especially when you have this type of heart disease, that's not good. That's where the heart attack comes. So they were even saying when I was feeling that way, that burning sensation and my heart feeling like it's about to fall out of my body, that could have been mild heart attacks. And, me sitting down may have saved me, because if I would have kept going, that, I could have possibly passed out. And I don't know if Carter's Eat is listening to this video, but one time my daughter and I were walking in my neighborhood, and I remember it was a hot day and we were far from our house, and we were walking past a little playground that's in our neighborhood. And I told my daughter, I said, I can't make it. I need to sit down. I need you to go home and get the car and bring it back to pick me up. And my kids used to always be like, Mom, like, you are tripping. Why you act like it's that hard? What you doing? Because I don't look like I'm like really out of shape or anything. I'm pretty cool in terms of how I look. And so they would always just kind of be like, what's going on? Why are you acting like that? Come on, stop playing. And I remember telling her, no, I'm not playing. This is serious. And I'm saying Carter's Eat because Lisa from Carter's Eat is my soror. And I sat down at the park, and I remember for whatever reason I called her, and she was like, sis, like, what you doing? I said, girl, I couldn't make it home. My daughter is going to get the car to bring it back to pick me up. And she was like, all right, just chill, relax, whatever. And she talked to me until my daughter came with the car. And I even then, it just didn't dawn on me. I was just looking at it like, well, it's really hot. We probably started walking too late in the day. We should have went earlier or later. And, the sun is just right there. It was just so much. And I just knew I wasn't going to make it home. And that was the summer before last, I want to say. That was the summer of 2021. So also something else I noticed was how when I talk, and especially if I'm doing a presentation or I'm talking about something that I'm doing, because I'm very passionate about the things that I'm doing in my life, both personally and professionally, my heart rate would go up. It would be as if I'm working out. I would get excited. I can feel my heart racing. I would get hot. My face would turn red. It would just be a situation. And I used to always have to tell myself, and sometimes I would even say it out loud if I was doing a presentation and people can see my energy. I would be like, all right, Sherry, like, calm down, because I'm very excitable. And I never realized that, that has something to do with the way my heart was trying to pump the blood out to get to my body. And it was just, my energy level was too high for it at that moment. I never really realized that. So with this diagnosis, I'm telling you, when they first gave me this diagnosis, it devastated me. I'm not even gonna front. I'm not going to, play any games. It devastated me. And typically, I work on a more faith than fear. But for some reason, and especially because it's my heart, and you really only get one heart, and how sudden things with a heart can happen, it made me fearful. I started thinking about my family. I was thinking about my husband, about my kids, and especially my husband, because it's like he has challenges, from having played in the NFL, but it's like the major things I'm starting to have. Like, what in the world? What is this coming? What is this? And because what I have is hereditary, I had to tell my children. I told my siblings. I told them to tell their children. I'm pretty sure it may have started on my mother's side, so I told my cousins over there. But I just don't think outside of my immediate family, my husband and kids, that anybody else really has taken this seriously. And I'm just out here now talking about it to you, just in case you are experiencing these things, so that you can get it checked out. All that dying suddenly, there's nothing, that's hard. That's hard. So I took it really hard. I have, my children are 3 young adults. They're 20, 22, and 24 years old. They are doing amazing. I'm so proud of them. But I know there's still so much I want to pour into them. And so selfishly, I was thinking like, Lord, there's so much I still want to do, so much I want to groom into my children and be here for them. I still, there's so much in life that I want to do. I feel like I'm at one of the high points of my career, y'all. What I'm doing in my career right now is a dream come true on every level. Financially, the work that I'm doing, everything. It's a dream come true. And it's like, I'm at the point where I'm doing exactly what I know my purpose is. This is my assignment. And you know what? I might have to sit down. What's going on? And so I did share this information with some of my SANs. I pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I have 17 line sisters. It was 18 of us all together. And I told a few, and I know how we work, so I didn't have to necessarily tell everyone. But even when, talking with them, the ones that had reached out, it just filled me. It filled me so much, just remembering our times and just wondering, we're going to have more of those times, and just a lot of things, how life has to change now for me. So some of the things that has changed is my medication. I had to, my blood pressure was a little elevated, but they had to change that medicine. I have to be on a beta blocker to slow down the flow of my blood. It's slowing down my metabolism so that I'm actually like responding or moving a little bit slower than usual, so that everything can work properly. I've noticed I can't walk and talk anymore. I can walk and talk, but when I do, it exerts so much energy from me. I could barely breathe. It takes a while for me. I almost have to try and catch my breath. Even if I'm sitting and talking, you might notice how I have to sometimes pause and catch my breath a little bit. And that's something that I realized a long time ago too. But definitely when I walk and when I try and talk a lot, it's a challenge. And so most of the people in my circle realize that. So they'll do the talking, or we'll just walk and appreciate what we see. And then when we stop, that's when we can have our conversation. I can't exercise anymore. Nothing rigorous, nothing aerobic, very low impact. If anything, nothing that will increase my heart rate. I can't lift weights like over 10 pounds. I have to be very mindful of my diet, more Mediterranean, less carbs, just having more clean foods. And yeah, it's been a journey. In September, I believe it was September, maybe the beginning of October, I think it was the end of September. I remember one day, my husband and daughter were like, your lips are dark. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they said, your lips look a little dark. And I'm like, y'all tripping, whatever. And the next morning, when I was getting ready and putting on my eyeliner and everything, I noticed my lips were purple. And they look like smoker's lips, like dark. And I was like, gosh, this looks weird. What's going on? So I took my blood pressure and my levels, what's it called? The oxygen levels. And my oxygen levels were so low. So I was like, I have to go to the emergency room. So they took me to the emergency room. And when you have a heart challenge, when you go to the emergency room, they admit you immediately, no matter how busy, crowded, whatever the hospital is, they take you in. And so I went in and they ran some more tests. They did an MRI and, my HOCM was showing up, because it's here. And they didn't want to take any chances with me there. So they sent me to the hospital. I had to go by ambulance. They wouldn't even let me go home or do anything. They was like, nope, you're going straight from here. We're not going to let anybody drive you. We're taking you by ambulance. So I went and I had to stay in the hospital basically for observation because my breathing was off. And it came to the point, they changed my medicine. So like I have to take it twice a day. I don't know if they changed the dosage or how that went, but I definitely had to get that changed. That was the beta block. They also did another test that took about 45 minutes. They put me in this chamber kind of thing. And then at some point they injected my arm with an, I had an IV with some dye. They wanted to do kind of like a 360 visual of my heart to see if there was any blockage, maybe if I needed a stent or anything like that. Because they did mention before that, pacemaker might have to be a situation. And, it's just like all this stuff going on. I am a seasoned woman, a woman of a certain age. And it's interesting how no matter how you might look or feel, your body still will do its own thing. And I hadn't been used to that. I'm thinking, well, if you eat wrong or bad, or if you are inactive, or if you just, do the wrong things and don't try to take care of your body, then your body's not going to take care of you. But it doesn't matter. It's just like your body just does things. And so I stayed in the hospital for a couple of days. And then, like I said, they changed my my prescription, and luckily I didn't have any kind of blockage, so I don't need a stent or anything like that. But I have to go to the cardiologist often, just to kind of keep up and checked out. And yeah, so the thing is, for me, for 2022 and for that situation to be part of who I am now, I'm not sad anymore about it. It's interesting how my line sisters, they talked to me like I talked to them, or how I talk to other people, trying to be encouraging and supportive and trying to really be compassionate and inspirational to them. And I've never really had that. I've never been the recipient of that. And so I love them that much more for it. And I appreciate them. My family has been so generous with their time, their energy, and just the things that they've done for me, that, them keeping me in mind for everything. I love them that much more for it. What it's taught me is what I can do and what I can't do. And I'm glad that I know what I have because, like I said, I know what I can do and what I can't do. If I didn't know that I had this, if I wouldn't have gone to the doctor because I felt dizzy, I would have kept pushing myself through this. And there would have been a breaking point, and I may not have recovered from that. So I'm thankful to God for knowing. So if you don't get anything else from this video, I would say no. Find out what's going on with your body. I've been able to, it feels like, look inside of my body since I've given birth. I've become more aware of my body, like the feeling of things going on and the changes. And when you have a change that just is not right, that sleep is just not going to fix, go and get it checked out. Sometimes you can't wait until your annual physical. Sometimes you can't wait until that next appointment. Sometimes you have to go right now. And I'm so glad that I went right now. So please, this video, I hope you realize the importance of knowing. Well, that's all I have for you right now. Thank you so much for rocking with me and for tuning in. And until we speak again, stay safe. And I am Coach Sherry.